What up, what up, what up?
I've got big news for you, Shepard. Captain Anderson is stepping down as commanding officer of the Normandy. The ship is yours now.
What's up with that?
She's quick and quiet, and you know the crew. Perfect ship for a Spectre. Treat her well, Commander.
I want the truth. Why are you stepping down, sir?
You needed your own ship. A Spectre can't answer to anyone but the Council. And it's time for me to step down.
Come clean with me, Captain. You owe me that much.
I was in your shoes 20 years ago, Shepard. They were considering me for the Spectres.
What happened?
I failed. I couldn't make the cut. It's not something I'm proud of. Ask me later and I'll tell you the whole story. For now, all you need to know is, I was sent on a mission with Saren, and he made sure the Council rejected me. I had my shot. It came and went. Now you have a chance to make up for my mistakes.
Any word on Saren?
What kind of leads do we have?
Saren's gone.
I have to remember, I don't have to read these like I did in Dragon Age Origins. They can just
But we know what he's
speak.
after. The Conduit. He's got his Geth scouring the Traverse looking for clues.
We had reports of Geth in the Pharos system shortly before our colony there dropped out of contact, and there have been sightings around Noveria.
Find out what Saren was after on Pharos and Noveria. Maybe you can figure out where the Conduit is before he does.
Anything else?
We have one more lead. Matriarch Benezia, the other voice in that recording. She has a daughter, a scientist who specializes in the Protheans. We don't know if she's involved, but it might be a good idea to try and find her. See what she knows. Her name's Liara, Dr. Liara Tassoni. We have reports she was exploring an archaeological dig on one of the uncharted worlds in the Artemis Tau cluster.
Sounds like we should head for the Artemis Tau cluster.
It's your decision, Commander. You're a Spectre now. You don't answer to us.
But your actions still reflect on humanity as a whole. You make a mess and I get stuck cleaning it up.
You know, I'll be careful.
I'll try not to make things any harder on you, Ambassador.
Glad to hear it, Commander. Remember, you were a human long before you were a Spectre. I have a meeting to get to. Captain Anderson can answer any questions you might have.
Did I do that, Oh, wait, I missed the quest. I did miss a quest. How did I miss that quest? I can do it right now.
Yes, Commander?
How you doing?
How are you holding up?
Honestly, this isn't how I pictured my career coming to an end. Pushing papers really isn't my thing, but you're the one who can stop Saren. I believe in you, Shepard. If that means I have to step aside, so be it.
I don't want to relive the knowledge of the books, but just in case. What happened? He's just gonna tell you the whole story about how he killed civilians, and he covered it up, and a lot of civilians died. You got blamed for it. You didn't become a Spectre. It wasn't your
Don't
fault.
blame yourself, Captain.
I don't. I blame Saren.
Good.
Maybe he just likes the violence. Maybe he was just trying to make me look.
It doesn't matter.
Humans
None of
aren't
this matters.
Spectres. If so, he pulled it off.
The only thing I care about is stopping Saren.
You're right, Commander. It's no good living in the past.
This is just learning about every place. Prothean ruins, corporate planet of snow and ice. What if Hoth, but capitalism?
What do you know about
Might not be easy finding Dr. Tassonia.
any extra...
The colony tried to build on what the Protheans left.
Yeah. I remember when I first played the game, it was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Pharos first because it sounds the most dire. And then I'm like, I'll go to Noveria second. And I'm like, oh, Liara's a teammate. Alright, let's leave. That's fine. We'll come back.
Stand by, shore party.
This is a little faster too, but I always like this little like decontamination. You used to be able to go through twice because the loading took so long. Now it's just kind of like before it even touches you, pop. Loading's a lot faster, which is fun.
I heard what happened to Captain Anderson. Survives 100 battles and then gets taken down by backroom politics. Just watch your back, Commander. Things go bad on this mission, you're next on their chopping block.
Captain Anderson should be the one in charge. It's like I'm stealing the ship from him.
Yeah, the captain got screwed. But it's not like you could have stopped it. Nobody's blaming you. Everyone on this ship's behind you, Commander. 100%. Intercom's open. If you got anything you want to say to the crew, Now's the time.
Now we do things more. Let's Paragon it up.
This is Commander Shepard speaking.
We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the conduit. I won't lie to you, crew. This mission isn't going to be easy.
This began with an attack on a human settlement in the Traverse.
But we know Saren won't stop there. His Geth armies aren't going to stay on the far fringes of Citadel space.
For too long, our species has stood apart from the others.
Now it's time for us to step up and do our part for the rest of the galaxy. Time to show them what humans are made of.
Our enemy knows we're coming.
When we go into the Traverse, Saren's followers will be waiting for us. But we'll be ready for them, too.
Humanity needs to do this.
Not just for our own sake, but for the sake of every other species in Citadel space. Saren must be stopped, and I promise you all, we will stop him.
Well said, Commander. Captain would be proud.
Fancy speeches won't stop Saren from finding the conduit. If we really want to make the captain proud, we better get this bird in the air.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, Paragon 4. If you notice why I ended up choosing a lot more renegade a lot less renegade decisions, excuse me, it's because a lot of the renegade decisions, especially in Mass Effect 1, are pretty just straight up racist. Which is like, I'm not complaining. It's just that's the way the character rolls in Renegade. Like it's a lot of like human interests firsts, in a galaxy where everyone kind of matters. Ten Hut, do I have to flock you? That's what I thought. So I don't know if I'll keep doing this. I did this in my original, but we're gonna spend the time talking to some of our squad mates. I don't need to do that. Oh. Yeah. Get those sweet, sweet experience points. Did I get the experience points in the cabin? I think I did. Hold on. I did not, because he was sitting at the desk. Actually, he has 2 desks. Why did he have 2 desks? Why does he have 2 desks? That doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, let's start talking to companions. Again, I don't know. This is the main draw of the game, so I feel like I'm probably going to leave it in. So let's see how. Let's go back through it.
Anything you need, Commander?
How did the last mission go, do you think?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
Well, what do you think about your personal input?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander.
Nah, never mind.
Personal debriefings later.
We'll talk.
Alright, this is not going to be a very long one then.
Commander?
I'll use the opportunities to talk to the squad mates as essentially a chance to, you know, world build a little bit. Just talk to them about that. And how interesting I think that really comes off as. This elevator, also a lot faster. You can't skip it. But you don't really need to. Alright, I saw Garrus. I saw you. This is our shop on the Normandy.
Looking for some extra.
What have you got?
He essentially, we have to buy all of it, even though it's dumb.
Oh, the license
But
is
it's because he pays out of pocket for a lot of his merchandising. We have to buy licenses for him to be able to buy more stuff to sell to us. You don't really need to use the merchant store too much until you have so much money that it doesn't matter, because you'll be looting most of what you need. Okay. No, not Garrus. There. Perfect. Okay. Now we talk to Garrus.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Command. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSAC.
You know what's funny? A lot of people like Garrus. I don't like Mass Effect 1 Garrus. He's kind of a... I mean, you'll see. Let's get to know Garrus together in the remaster. Let's revisit Garrus' character. Don't like his Mass Effect 1 character all that much.
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
So this is something I saw someone tweeted and a bunch of Mass Effect fans didn't like. Basically, contextually, Garrus looks like a cop that has no respect for procedure or rules. and politicians that put things in place for him not to be a loose cannon. And I never really liked that whiny side of him, just in general, when I played this game. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, Garrus, no, those rules are there for a reason. Like, you can't just, like... Laws exist so you can enforce them. And I'm very much a person, personally, that's like, we should be protecting and serving, not hunting and prosecuting and killing as you're not a warrior, you're a guardian as a cop, in my mind. Which is even more tragic that a lot of cops get warrior training to always be on alert, to be a predator, essentially. Not by and large, obviously, but that's been well documented that we don't have to go into too much detail on in a Mass Effect game, honestly. But it's why now, looking back, I'm like, oh, this kind of rubs me the wrong way. But Garrus' attitude cools over the course of the series. He's not so much a cop that has no respect for the rules. He's just someone who's frustrated, and that becomes more apparent later on in the series.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work.
I wish I could
If I'm trying to take
look at Garrus and say, what rule is stopping you from doing your job? And he's going to give us examples.
their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. C-Sec's handling of Saren was typical.
Now that was
Take it
bull.
I hate leaving.
The fact that you got chosen to investigate a potential criminal and you were giving, like, no information or files or anything to actually uncover, like, that is bull. But that's less politicking, and that's more like, that's actively their blue wall of silence, or in this case, the council wall of silence makes him above investigation, which is misses the whole point of even having a trial. But leaving in general, it's tough. You know, it's your whole career path.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside C-Sec. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without C-Sec headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
You worked for me? So that stunt you pulled where you almost shot the doctor when we met? Slow down with that, maybe.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
There you go. Better shape up. Because I need a man. I need a man. And there's Rex, of course. Rex is just, at this point, Rex's part in the story is just to be your cool war buddy who gives you war stories. He's like Canderous in KOTOR 1 and 2.
Nice ship.
Actually, more KOTOR 1, though.
What can I do?
Actually, he's almost exactly like Canderous KOTOR 1. He's just the mercenary that's given up on his people's chance for communion again, for collective society. Wow, yeah, he's exactly like Canderous, except he's just an alien. Wow.
What's your story, Rex?
I can't believe I never put that together.
Story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
Come on.
You Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire...
That was fun.
That was...
Ooh, let's not be mean about the fact that they almost genocided his species.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
Of course it is, said ignorant person who doesn't know what they actually did.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
Nope.
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand.
Yeah, seriously.
Compare humanity.
Like, Shepard in Mass Effect 1, Renegade can be kind of racist on purpose, but a lot of Shepard's neutral answers, even Paragon, come off as ignorant. And I kind of don't mind because it just shows how much we have to learn with different species coming together. But it does make Shepard look a little stupid. Just because, like, these are basic facts about an entire species, Shepard, and their history. Like, you could learn some of this. But it's like, do I know the War of the Roses or why I started? No, I don't. And that's my planet, so I can't complain.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Tell me more about your dying people.
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
So let's explore that.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
I see. So you're dying?
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far.
The exact number is, I mentioned it before, is 1 in 1,000 Krogan survives.
And no one...
They do reproduce like crazy though. Why not rush to a cure?
Krogan try to find a cure.
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist? You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credit?
Yeah. You take a warrior culture that's obsessed with honor and meaning through violence and aggression,
Nobody can.
and you tell them that they're dying, guess what? They're gonna try to fight and die as hard as they can so that they can die with honor because they don't see any other recourse. And there are, as we find out later, Krogan scientists and doctors. They're just not common enough. And the Krogan leaders, the faction leaders, their nation leaders, their people leaders, like they're just not. None of them are interested in long-term longevity. And we'll kind of come back to that later with Rex.
Commander?
How we doing?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
Shut up. No, I get it.
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, ma'am. If I...
Yeah, I feel bad for Samesh, especially.
Cut down by an ambush.
I mean, listen, you gotta move on with that stuff.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
You can't just blame yourself your whole life, honestly.
Ma'am, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
Cool. Alright, one person left on the roster. Oh, well, technically two. Pew.
Hey, Commander.
Hey, Adams. Underrated character that you're never going to talk to outside of his first conversation right now.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guy...
All three of those lines were different flavors of I'll tell her to leave you alone. The bottom ones were just really mean about it.
Got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for talent, Commander. But I'm guessing that's not why you came down.
The Normandy is a stealth ship.
Eventually the things have to...
That's it.
Most vessels rely on...
That's what's special about the Normandy, honestly. It's just a stealth ship. He served in a lot of places.
She's the best ship I've ever served on. Proportion?
Very expensive drive core. But we're good on that. That's fine. We don't need to talk more than that. Hey, Tally, how you doing?
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
Yeah, this is like you're accusing her of being a spy down here.
The Normandy's a prototype, cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla.
So she's been on her pilgrimage for roughly a month.
I'm sitting on board.
Yeah,
one
she
of
got
the most
Tally got it
advanced
good jumping on this
vessels
ship.
in Citadel space. I have
She got it good.
bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is
It really is.
come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
See, but Shepard knows how long it's been since the Geth lived.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
But maybe that's more common knowledge. Maybe dates are more common knowledge. Also, this is more recent than the Krogan genophage. Krogan genophage, I think, is like 800 years old compared to the Geth rise is 300 years old.
Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel.
Yeah.
But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
So this is a lot of stuff to go over. It's I don't want to rush her through it because I didn't rush anybody else through their dialogue. But let's get a brief overview of some of it right now. We know her people are nomadic. They created the Geth. The Geth are now villains. And the pilgrimage is their opportunity to broaden their horizons, excuse me. Like a Amish Rumspringer, if I believe that's the right word for it. Where they go out into the world, find something of value, become more experienced. It's actually a very clever coming of age ritual for the Quarians because you basically get a couple things. You make sure that the Quarians leave ships and go to new ships in terms of Quarian culture because they leave their birth ship and they go on to a new ship, which means that anybody they end up marrying potentially or reproducing with potentially if they're heterosexual, you essentially have a system where you reduce as much inbreeding as possible. You also have a system where somebody leaves for an extended amount of time because we'll learn later that the Quarians don't believe in exile. They don't believe in a death sentence and imprisonment because that's too much resources to kill or keep somebody who is a drain on food, water, and space that they can't afford to waste with their limited, nomadic abilities and their resources, their secondhand equipment. So exile means that that person leaves and they're not our problem anymore. We don't have to take care of them, but their kids can still return into the fold because, again, the genetic diversity, the longevity of the species is still too important. So that's kind of the importance of a pilgrimage. Also, having to leave and navigate space on your own and come back essentially ensures that not only do you have a knowledge of space travel overall, but it ensures that you come back to the fleet, the flotilla, the Quarian people, with a diverse knowledge of different areas that you can go to, resources you can take advantage of, knowledge you can bring back and improve. It helps the people, it helps the individual. It's a ritual of necessity that ends up being obtaining cultural importance. So someone really thought this through, which I really appreciate.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't
very collectivist too.
Resources are
nomadic and collectivist.
We are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
Like what?
Kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child.
Yeah, this was a system in China for a while too. I think it was somewhat relatively recent that they changed that to 2 kids. That allows a lot of problems. Because remember, it's illegal in Quarian culture to have more than 1 kid. That doesn't mean people might still have more than 1 kid. So what do you do? Is that kid considered a crime? Do they not get a social security number? Are they not registered? Do people keep them a secret? How does that work? Their conclave is the government. It's a group of ship leaders of the biggest ships. I think biggest ships are the elected ships. Are they elected? Yeah, they are, right? Yeah, they elect a representative.
Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the conclave and make the.
So the conclave is a large group of captains.
An individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days.
So each ship is essentially its own city-state.
Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected
council from their. So there's no actual guideline to say you have to have your own little town hall inside your own ship, but most people are smart enough to do it.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we're
Yes.
still under military jurisdiction.
They're still each a naval power.
Top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board.
So yeah, so they're both military and civilian, but their military is their leading power because again,
To do so requires
their modality is ships. Their naval power is their important power, so the admirals have control of that.
the entire.
So military rank determines who's in charge.
It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave fully.
That's pretty good, honestly. Your main power source has only ever vetoed the secondary supplementary force of elected officials 4 times in 3 centuries. That's pretty good. That's the Quarians. Let's learn more about the Geth while we're here. Why not? Let's make this an episode.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Sure, we're here for the duration.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been
Really should say them, but
we never did anything that was actually illegal.
a lot of people criticize Tali for feeling like she's an encyclopedia, and a lot of Mass Effect 1 companions feel that way. But every once in a while, you can see a lot of her personality actually eke through. She's not just talking about her culture, she's talking about how she feels about her culture. Like, notice when she talks about the Geth, she talks about them not in hateful terms right now. She talks to them very, like, plain, declarative, like the Geth are just machines.
So the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
That makes sense to me.
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information.
Yeah, they don't meld.
Handle that much simultaneously.
We'll get more details in Mass Effect 2 about them, but essentially the Geth, the best way to describe it is how a character describes it in Mass Effect 2, is each Geth program is an eyeball,
It's basically the synthetic
right?
equivalent
And
of
each
a
eye, or each Geth is a different sense, right? Maybe there's different touch, sound, sight, smell, taste, right? Geth obviously don't use taste or smell, or in certain cases they might use air detection. Essentially what they do is each unit cooperates with another unit by giving more information. So let's say 2 Geth are farming. One is looking up at the sun to determine time of day. Another one is looking at the ground to determine soil quality, right? So one might say, oh, the soil quality is very good. Let's work right now here. And the other one might be looking at the time of day and say, oh, actually the day's almost done. If we work through the night, or if we don't work through the night, right? If they determine that it's a different decision they should make based on the position of the sun or the time of day, they can then work together with that information to make more complex decisions, right? So it's like, oh, let's not do it now. Let's take the time of day into consideration. Or let's consider where the sun's going to be on this spot of dirt for the soil quality, right? Things like that. So essentially, more perspectives make them smarter and allow each unit to do their job much better. But they are just an unit. There is no consciousness. It's a bunch of different voices giving their opinion, and then the machine takes those values and say, mathematically, what's the most efficient decision? So why did they turn on you?
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose?
Right. So that's essentially enough Geth get together and start improving and self-improving on their tasks to say, oh, you know, let's grow this, let's grow that, let's grow here. Why? Okay, let's go over here. Oh, we can't. That's a Quarian residential section, right? And then they start doing the tasks so easily with enough neural networking power that their thoughts start going towards other possible avenues of production. So they look at, you know, what Quarians do to take into account their labor, what are unions, you know, what are... I'm making up my examples now. The story doesn't talk about this too much. But like, oh, what are unions? What are days off? What are sick days? What is the well-being of Quarian and organics? You know, should there be precautions taken for synthetics and to avoid like overworking a PC or ROM or you know, hardware or software? And then it's just like, okay, what's the value of that software and hardware versus a Quarian person? And how come a Quarian person can't do this job? It's like, oh, because they're an organic and the differences between organic and synthetic. And then essentially, what is the difference between organic and synthetic? And that chain of logic goes until they go, oh, do I have... I'm going to spoil something a little bit here. Do I have a soul? What separates me from the Quarian is, oh, they have a higher value on what is life. And am I considered life? Says the Geth. And then, bam, self-awareness and sapience starts right there. Right. And that caused the panic because they're supposed to be cheap labor. They're not supposed to be thinking these high ideals.
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would
sapient
rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
I mean, yeah, if they were self-aware at that point, like, what did you expect them to do? This is kind of the right response, but I don't want to be mean.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice.
You could have not shot them
On the verge of revolution.
or deactivated them.
We had a chance to
Yeah, but here's the thing: is we had no other choice, and then the choice you made was horrible,
little more than machines.
and it ended in a terrible outcome.
Resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
Yeah, it sounds like you were the aggressors.
Start to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place. But we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. There is
You don't know that, though.
no use for
You really don't.
none. Why
Like, they didn't chase you.
off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
You don't know that, though. They don't kill everyone. They didn't finish off your species, even though it sounds like they could have. I'm not trying to argue with you, but...
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, we can wrap this up soon.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew.
Yeah, oh, she says it. Genetic diversity, yeah.
Maintain genetic diversity of
There you
the
go.
fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out with
Yeah, it's very collectivist.
the flotilla and
That the individual alone is not inherently worthy of worth or protecting or spending resources on. You have to prove that value back to society.
This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
We haven't even left the Citadel.
Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when the gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer.
I guess that's true.
Every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return.
Alright, so it's very rare that someone fails.
One of the fleet's captains.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
I should go.
See you later.
And we learned a lot too. Alright, so we got to meet everybody pretty much at this episode. We met everybody, talked to them a little bit. So that was good. I'm thinking, what am I thinking? What am I even thinking? I'm gonna probably do some side quests on my own. A few here and there, not too many. And then what I'll do is when we go to Therum to meet with Liara, we'll do that with you guys. Sorry. We'll do that on camera, just like I did before. There'll be some quests, just like last time, that I'm going to save to do with everyone together. Like, for example, the Missing Marines. I'll probably do that one with you guys, just because that's a guaranteed drop for a specific type of a mission structure that I want you guys to see. For sure. Oh! I gotta give that to Emily. Ooh, I should give that to her now. Alright, I'm gonna drop by the Citadel really quick. Just really quick. I'm not gonna talk to anybody else. Just drop that off, because that's bothering me now. But I'll do that, and then I'll be back. And then we'll go to Therum together, and it'll be fun. And then I'll come back and do more side quests, maybe. And then talk with more people on the ship, and that'll be another episode. But that'll be okay. So, I'll level everybody up, too. That'll be a nice thing to do. Everyone will love it. You guys will love it. I'll love it. That'll be great. Oh, we didn't talk to Joker.